The WNBA players ranked Caitlin Clark as the 11th best guard in the league. 11th. Let that number sit with you for a second. Not top 10, not top 5, 11th. The same Caitlin Clark who dragged the Indiana Fever to relevance, who brought sold-out arenas and primetime television slots and record merchandise sales, who became the most recognizable face this league has seen in a generation. The players of the WNBA looked at her body of work, looked at her impact, looked at her statistical dominance, and decided that 10 other guards were better. 10. And if you think that ranking was based on basketball performance, if you think that was an honest evaluation of talent and production, then I have got a bridge to sell you. Because what we are witnessing right now is not a legitimate assessment of skill. It is a coordinated, deliberate, undeniable effort to diminish Caitlin Clark because of who she is off the court. And the pattern is so glaring, so blatant, so impossible to ignore that the only people still pretending otherwise are the ones with a vested interest in maintaining the lie. Welcome back. This is the channel, and today we are ripping apart the absolute disgrace that just unfolded with the WNBA All-Star voting results, exposing the agenda that the establishment does not want you to examine too closely, and documenting exactly how the player vote tried to sabotage the biggest star this league has ever produced. Before we walk through the voting breakdown line by line, I need you to understand the stakes here. This is not just about an all-star selection. This is about legitimacy. This is about whether the WNBA is a meritocracy or a popularity contest controlled by gatekeepers who resent anyone who does not fit their preferred narrative. Caitlin Clark still made the all-star team as a starter, yes, the fans made sure of that, the weighted formula made sure of that. But the player vote, the vote cast by the women who share the court with her every single night, tried to bury her. And they did not just try to bury Caitlin Clark, they went after Kelsey Plum too. The two straight white guards who happened to be among the most talented, most productive, most marketable players in the league got ranked 11th and 12th by their peers. 11th and 12th. You cannot make this up. Let me lay out exactly what happened because the numbers tell a story that the league office and the broadcast partners are desperately hoping you will not piece together. The All-Star voting is divided into 3 categories: fan vote, media vote, and player vote. Each category carries a different weight in the final tally, and the league releases the rankings for each category separately. In the fan vote, Paige Bueckers came in first among guards, Caitlin Clark came in second, Kelsey Mitchell third, Olivia Miles fifth. That is the fan vote. The people who buy tickets, who watch games, who purchase jerseys, who generate the revenue that keeps this league afloat, they ranked Caitlin Clark second, not 11th, second. Then you look at the media vote. The media ranked Olivia Miles first among guards, Paige Bueckers second, Caitlin Clark third. Now I have got some thoughts on that ranking, and by some thoughts I mean I fundamentally disagree with putting Olivia Miles ahead of Caitlin Clark. But at least the media had Clark in the top 3. At least the media acknowledged that she belongs in the conversation for best guard in the league. The media vote was not an insult. It was debatable, sure, but it was not an insult. And then you get to the player vote. The player vote, where the women who compete against Caitlin Clark every night, who see her production up close, who have watched her elevate the Fever from a lottery team to a playoff contender, cast their ballots. And those players ranked Caitlin Clark 11th. 11th. They ranked Rikuna Williams ahead of her. They ranked Alicia Gray ahead of her. They ranked Marina Mabrey ahead of her. They ranked Kelsey Mitchell ahead of her. They ranked 10 other guards ahead of the woman who is leading the league in assists, who is putting up historic scoring numbers, who is the reason half of these arenas are selling out in the first place. Let me say that again so it is absolutely clear. The WNBA players ranked Caitlin Clark as the 11th best guard in the league. 11th. And it did not stop with Caitlin Clark. Kelsey Plum, who has been on an absolute tear this season, who has been the best player on the Las Vegas Aces, who has been playing at an elite level night in and night out, got ranked 12th by the players. 12th. Kelsey Plum is playing better than Alicia Gray. She is playing better than Rikuna Williams. She is playing better than Kelsey Mitchell. She is playing better than Marina Mabrey. And yet the players of the WNBA looked at Kelsey Plum and said, nope, she is 12th. She does not crack the top 10. You notice the pattern yet? The 2 straight white guards, the 2 players who do not fit the preferred cultural mold of the WNBA establishment, got buried in the player vote, 11th and 12th, back to back. And if you think that is a coincidence, if you think that is just an honest difference of opinion about basketball talent, then you are not paying attention. This is not about basketball. This is about identity. This is about a league that has spent years cultivating a very specific image, a very specific culture, a very specific set of gatekeepers, and those gatekeepers are now watching their control slip away because 2 players who do not fit the mold are dominating the conversation. And they are terrified, so they do what insecure gatekeepers always do. They try to tear down the people who threaten their power. The league tried to bury this story, by the way. They announced the All-Star starters at 1 o'clock on a random Thursday afternoon, 1 o'clock, in the middle of the day. Not in prime time, not as a lead-in to a nationally televised game, not with any fanfare or build-up or promotional push. They drop the announcement in the dead zone of the news cycle, when most people are at work, when most fans are not paying attention, when the story would get minimal traction. And that tells you everything you need to know about how the league views this situation. They know the player vote is a disgrace. They know it exposes an ugly truth about the culture inside the WNBA locker rooms. So they tried to bury the announcement in hope that nobody would dig into the numbers, but we are digging into the numbers, and the numbers are damning. Let me walk you through the full All-Star starter list so you understand just how historic this is for the Indiana Fever. For the first time in franchise history, the Fever have 3 All-Star starters. 3. Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston. No other team this year has 3 starters. The Dallas Wings have 2, Arike Ogunbowale and Paige Bueckers. The Minnesota Lynx have 2, Nafisa Collier and Olivia Miles. The Las Vegas Aces have 1, Aja Wilson. The New York Liberty have 1, Breanna Stewart. The Seattle Storm have 1, Gabby Williams. Indiana has 3. That is a testament to what Caitlin Clark has built in Indianapolis. That is a testament to the talent she has elevated around her. Kelsey Mitchell is an all-star starter because Caitlin Clark made her better. Aaliyah Boston is an all-star starter because Caitlin Clark unlocked her potential. The Fever are relevant again because of Caitlin Clark, and the players of the WNBA ranked her 11th. Let me break down how the weighted voting works because this is important. The fan vote counts for 50% of the final score. The media vote counts for 25%. The player vote counts for 25%. So even though the players tried to tank Caitlin Clark's ranking, even though they put her at 11th, the fan vote and the media vote were strong enough to pull her into the top 3 overall. She finished 3rd in the weighted score, behind Olivia Miles and Paige Bueckers. 3rd, not 11th. The fans saved her. The media saved her. The players tried to sabotage her, and the system overruled them. But here is what should terrify every single person who cares about the integrity of this league. The players tried to drop Caitlin Clark so far down the rankings that she would not have made the All-Star team at all. If the player vote had carried more weight, if the formula had been different, Caitlin Clark could have been replaced by Racuna Williams. She could have been replaced by Alicia Gray. The players of the WNBA actively tried to keep the biggest star in the league off the All-Star roster, and they almost succeeded. Think about that for a second. The players tried to keep Caitlin Clark off the All-Star team, the woman who is the reason this league is getting mainstream media coverage, the woman who is the reason arenas are selling out, the woman who is the reason merchandise sales are spiking, the woman who is the reason the WNBA signed a new television deal worth more money than any deal in league history. The players looked at all of that and said, "We do not care, we want her out." And it is not just Caitlin Clark. They went after Kelsey Plum too. Kelsey Plum, who has been the better Kelsey this season. Kelsey Plum, who has been carrying the Aces while Aja Wilson deals with injuries. Kelsey Plum, who is shooting at an elite level, who is creating for her teammates, who is playing all NBA caliber basketball. The players ranked her 12th. They put Marina Mabrey ahead of her. They put Alicia Gray ahead of her. They put Racuna Williams ahead of her. And there is no basketball justification for that. None. Marina Mabrey had one hot shooting night recently. That does not make her better than Kelsey Plum over the course of a full season. Alicia Gray is a solid role player. She is not better than Kelsey Plum. Racuna Williams is a scorer off the bench. She is not better than Kelsey Plum. And yet the players ranked all of them higher. You see the pattern? The 2 straight white guards get buried. 11th and 12th. And the players who get ranked ahead of them do not have the statistical profile, do not have the production, do not have the impact. So what is the common denominator? What is the variable that explains why Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Plum got ranked so low? It is not their basketball ability. It is not their production. It is not their value to their teams. It is who they are off the court. It is their identity. It is the fact that they do not fit the cultural mold that the WNBA establishment has spent years promoting, and the players of the league looked at that and decided to punish them for it. This is a concerted effort. This is not random. This is not a coincidence. This is a coordinated campaign to diminish Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Plum because the old guard of the WNBA resents the fact that 2 players who do not fit their narrative are dominating the conversation. The establishment does not want Caitlin Clark to be the face of the league. They want Aja Wilson. They want Breanna Stewart. They want players who fit the image they have been cultivating for years. And when Caitlin Clark came in and shattered that image, when she brought millions of new fans who do not care about the old narratives, when she proved that the WNBA could be bigger and more popular and more profitable than anyone thought possible, the establishment panicked, and the players followed their lead. Let me be entirely clear with you right now. The player vote needs to be made public. Every single ballot needs to be released. We need to know which players voted for whom. We need to see the names, we need to see the rankings, because right now the player vote is a black box. The league dumps the aggregate results and expects us to accept them at face value. But when the aggregate results are this absurd, when they are this disconnected from reality, we have a right to demand transparency. Who ranked Caitlin Clark 11th? Who ranked Kelsey Plum 12th? Who put Racuna Williams in the top 5? Who put Marina Mabrey ahead of the 2 most productive guards in the league? We need names, we need accountability. The fan vote is public. Millions of people cast ballots, and the league releases the totals. The media vote should be public too. Every media member who gets a ballot should have to publish their rankings and defend them. And the player vote absolutely needs to be public. If you are a professional athlete and you are casting a vote that determines all-star selections, you should have to stand behind that vote. You should have to explain your reasoning. You should have to justify why you think Alicia Gray is better than Caitlin Clark. You should have to justify why you think Marina Mabrey is better than Kelsey Plum. And if you cannot justify it, if your vote was based on personal animosity or cultural bias or petty jealousy, then you should be called out for it. Because that is what this is. This is petty jealousy. This is resentment. This is a group of players who have spent years grinding in obscurity, who have spent years playing in front of half-empty arenas, who have spent years watching the WNBA struggle for relevance, and now they are watching Caitlin Clark walk in and achieve in one season what they could not achieve in entire careers. And instead of celebrating that, instead of recognizing that Caitlin Clark is lifting the entire league, they are trying to tear her down. They are trying to diminish her. They are trying to send a message that she does not belong, that she is not one of them, that she will never be accepted no matter how much she produces on the court. And it is disgusting. It is shameful. It is exactly the kind of toxic, insecure, self-destructive behavior that has held the WNBA back for decades. The league finally has a transcendent star. The league finally has someone who can bring in casual fans, who can generate mainstream media coverage, who can make the WNBA relevant in the broader sports conversation. And the players are trying to sabotage her. They are trying to protect their turf. They are trying to preserve the old hierarchy. And in doing so, they are sabotaging the future of their own league. Let me tell you what should happen. The league should abolish the player vote entirely. Replace it with a coach vote. Let the coaches rank the players. At least the coaches have a professional obligation to evaluate talent honestly. At least the coaches have an incentive to put the best players on the floor, because their jobs depend on winning games. The players have no such incentive. The players can vote based on personal grudges, based on cultural allegiances, based on who they like in the locker room. And that is exactly what they did here. They voted based on everything except basketball ability. And the result is a player vote that is completely disconnected from reality. Or better yet, get rid of the player vote and the media vote and just let the fans decide. The fans are the ones who pay for tickets. The fans are the ones who buy merchandise. The fans are the ones who watch the games on television and generate the ratings that determine how much money the league makes. The fans are the ones who have a financial stake in the success of the league, so let the fans pick the all-stars. Let the people who actually care about the product make the decisions. Because right now the player vote is being used as a weapon to punish players who do not conform to the cultural orthodoxy of the WNBA locker room, and that is not what all-star voting should be. Caitlin Clark is a 3-time all-star starter now. 3 years in the league, 3 all-star selections, 3 times as a starter. That is historic. That is unprecedented for a player this early in her career. And she achieved that despite the players trying to sabotage her. She achieved that because the fans refused to let the establishment bury her. She achieved that because the people who actually watch the games, who actually care about the product, who actually recognize greatness when they see it, overwhelmed the haters with their votes. But the fact that the players ranked her 11th should be a wake-up call for everyone. The fact that the players tried to keep her off the All-Star team should be a scandal. The fact that the league tried to bury the announcement in the middle of a Thursday afternoon should tell you that they know how bad this looks. They know the player vote is indefensible. They know it exposes the ugly underbelly of WNBA locker room culture. So they tried to minimize the story and hope it would go away. It is not going away. We are not letting this go. Because this is bigger than one all-star vote. This is about whether the WNBA is going to embrace its future or cling to its past. This is about whether the league is going to celebrate the players who are bringing in new fans and new revenue, or whether it is going to let the old guard gatekeepers sabotage them out of spite. This is about whether the WNBA is going to be a meritocracy or a clique. And right now the player vote is telling us that it is a clique. The player vote is telling us that if you do not fit the mold, if you do not conform to the cultural expectations, if you do not pay deference to the established hierarchy, you will be punished. You will be diminished. You will be ranked 11th even when you are clearly one of the 3 best guards in the league. Caitlin Clark is not going anywhere. Kelsey Plum is not going anywhere. The fans have spoken, the numbers have spoken, the arenas are full, the television ratings are up. The merchandise is flying off the shelves. The WNBA is more popular than it has ever been, and that is because of players like Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Plum. The old guard can resent that all they want. They can vote them 11th and 12th all they want. It does not change reality. It does not change the fact that Caitlin Clark is the face of this league whether the players like it or not, and here is what I am going to put my name on. By the end of this season, Caitlin Clark is going to be in the MVP conversation. She is going to lead the Fever to the playoffs. She is going to put up numbers that force even the haters to acknowledge her greatness, and when that happens, when she is standing on stage accepting awards and breaking records and proving every single doubter wrong, I want you to remember this player vote. I want you to remember that the players ranked her 11th. I want you to remember that they tried to sabotage her, because that is going to make her success even sweeter. The Indiana Fever have 3 all-star starters: Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston. That is a franchise record. That is a testament to what this team has built. And it is just the beginning. The Fever are not done. Caitlin Clark is not done. And no matter how hard the establishment tries to tear her down, no matter how low the players try to rank her, she is going to keep producing. She is going to keep winning. She is going to keep proving that she belongs at the top of this league. Drop your most honest take in the comments below. Is the player vote a legitimate evaluation of talent, or is it a coordinated effort to punish players who do not fit the WNBA establishment's preferred narrative? I want every opinion that is willing to commit to one side, and if you think the players were justified in ranking Caitlin Clark 11th, I want you to explain to me which 10 guards are better than her right now. I want names, I want stats, I want a basketball argument. Because I have been watching this league closely, and I cannot find 10 guards who are more productive, more impactful, or more valuable to their teams than Caitlin Clark. So if you have got that list, drop it in the comments, defend your position, let's have that conversation. Hit the notification bell because this story is not over. The All-Star game is coming. The second half of the season is coming. The playoffs are coming. And Caitlin Clark is going to be at the center of all of it, whether the players like it or not. We will see you in the next video.